So the Chiefs are only 3 days into training camp, but there are several players quickly progressing up the pecking order, and a couple of key veteran players are in better shape now than they've been in years. That's good news for the Chiefs, bad news for everyone else, because both of these players will definitely make an impact for the offense this season. So I've got to talk about that, as well as look through some highlights and more standouts from today's practice. But first, how about those? All right, so day 3 of training camp was a day. Still not in full pads, but getting closer. As Andy Reid told the media today, the pads will be coming on this Sunday. Let's go. Creed Humphrey said that without pads on, it's hard to get a real look at how the guys handle things in the trenches, the run game, pass protection, all of it. So come Sunday, you're going to get to see what these guys are made of. Kareem Hunt echoed that, saying when the pads come on, you got to bring it. Everyone is fighting for a spot, and it's only going to make each other better. Andy Reid also complimented the new tackles along the line right now, with those being Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore, left and right, with Jawan Taylor out on the PUP list, and he said they keep improving, but we'll see how they do when the pads come on. This is all a ramp-up period to get them ready for contact, which is something Kareem Hunt did not have the ability to do last offseason. 2024 was more difficult to lock all the way in prior to the season because he didn't even know if he would get an opportunity in the NFL. So now that he's got a full offseason under his belt, it's going to help him out a lot. To work with the team, eat healthy, all of it. It's a big advantage. Not joining KC until week 3 of the regular season made things pretty difficult. He couldn't even get out of bed after the first game, per Jesse Newell, I believe, of the KC Star last year. And honestly, Hunt didn't really think he found his groove with the team until later on in the season, just prior to the playoffs. So this go-round, he's been locked in, staying on top of things to build upon last season. And when asked about his success as a short yardage back last year, he was one of the most successful in all the NFL. Kareem said that he takes pride in whatever he does. Those are big-time plays to get those 2 to 3 yards and keep the drive alive. It is a mindset thing. Keep the legs driving and force more than one person to have to bring you down. Just find a way. Well, we will definitely be seeing more of that from Kareem Hunt this season. Big Red thinks Kareem is in good shape, and a full offseason has been to his benefit, adding that Hunt will be in the mix, rotating in and doing his thing in the running back room. He's one to watch. He could be the Chiefs' third down back. We'll see as time goes on when the pads come on, but he's got the most experience, that's for sure. Even though I do like Brashard Smith, I just think he might need a little bit more time since he's only had 1 year of experience as a running back. And on the subject of the run game, let's get into it. There was an install period during today's practice with a focus on the run. The pecking order wasn't too terribly surprising. It was Isaiah Pacheco first up, then Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell was next, followed by Brashard Smith, and finally Carson Steele. There wasn't a lot to actually take away from that install period because, again, the pads aren't on, which doesn't allow for us to really learn all that much. But to me, the order of that room made sense from a depth chart perspective for right now. And before I dive more into some intriguing takeaways, the first team O-line is the thing to watch this Sunday. How will Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia look on that left side as they go up against guys like Chris Jones, Mike Dana, Charles Omenihu, and even George Karlaftis when he lines up over there against them? Creed Humphrey is excited for both of those guys, by the way. Kingsley is doing awesome so far, says Creed. His work ethic is top-notch, and he's adapting well to his new role at the guard spot. And then Josh Simmons is extremely talented. You can see that on the field. He moves very well and is super athletic. He's got a great first punch and a ton of stuff in his game that a lot of people don't naturally have. He's been focused in the meeting room, studying on his own, and you can tell how serious he's taking everything, and he seems to be fully healthy and getting after it. Well, that is some high praise for arguably the leader along the entire O-line, and I think that's been the highlight of training camp so far. Josh Simmons could really be the steal of the entire draft, and I'm here for all of it. I do think the left tackle spot is currently his and his alone to lose. On the note of the O-line, though, for the third day in a row, the first team offensive line out there has been Josh Simmons at left tackle, Kingsley at left guard, Creed, Trey Smith, and Jalen Moore over there at right tackle. However, whenever Jawan Taylor returns from the PUP list, I do think Jawan moves back to the starting right tackle spot, with Jalen Moore being the next man up for possibly either side. After all, Jawan is an above-average right tackle when not drawing flags, and now that he has had that knee procedure in the offseason to address whatever lingering knee issue that bothered him last year, I think we should in theory see his level of play go up. He is essentially on a contract year after all, because the Chiefs can move on from him to save $20 $20 million in 2026, but I do not care how much somebody is making this year. Just roll out the best 5 to protect Patrick Mahomes, and it's going to be fireworks. If that's Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore out there on the outside come week 1, then so be it. And in case you were curious, the second team O-line still featured Wanye Morris at the left tackle spot and Ethan Driscoll on the right side. And before I get to some intriguing players that worked in once again with the first team offense, if we switch sides to the defensive line, Omarr Norman-Lott, the second round defensive tackle, once again saw a lot of reps with the first team defense, which is rare for a rookie in Spags' defense. The first team D-line was initially George Karlaftis, Mike Pennell, Chris Jones, and Mike Dana, but again, Norman-Lott rotated in pretty quickly, and I do expect him to have a pretty decent role on that line this year. The second team D-line was Charles Omenihu, Jerry Tillery, Marlon Tuipulotu, and Felix Anudike-Uzama, and since I just mentioned Charles Omenihu, he batted down a Minshew pass today at the line of scrimmage, a welcomed sight to have Omenihu back and fully healthy out there. There was a nice 1v1 rep caught on camera of Josh Simmons going up against Omenihu, by the way, and we really can't take anything away from this because the pads aren't on. The quickness in which Josh Simmons moves is seriously impressive. Anyway, the reason I bring all this up, who's lining up where with the ones or the twos, is because it's typically the first and second team guys that make up the majority of the 53-man roster, and if any of the second teamers start seeing even more time with the ones, the coaching staff sees something in said player to try and give them even more opportunity. Speaking of opportunities, a couple of promising players are getting even more of them very early on in camp, which is encouraging for the offense to say the least, so I've got to talk about that next. But first, the football season is so close, I can almost taste it. The Chiefs' first preseason game is August 9th, and then it's off to the races to chase another Super Bowl ring. That's why you definitely need to get yourself some tickets sooner rather than later, and that's where the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, comes right in. They are the #1 rated ticketing app for a reason, boasting over 28 million downloads with more than 70,000 events listed on their site and app. There's plenty of sporting events going on right now too. MLB, WNBA, MLS, NASCAR, and of course the NFL season is right around the corner. Then you also can't forget about concerts, comedians, and festivals. Basically anything you could think of, there is a very good chance there's tickets on SeatGeek. They make the process super easy for you as well, rating tickets on a scale of 1 to 10 so you know if you're getting a good deal or not. You can see the app right here. Just look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. On top of that, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and you know I had to come through for you guys. You can use code HBTC10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code HBTC10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks again, SeatGeek. All right, so the 4th round rookie receiver Jalen Royals and 7th round running back Brashard Smith worked in early with the first team offense today, to which you could see Brashard catching a touchdown pass here from Mahomes in red zone work versus air. Okay, it was against Casper, not a big deal. But what I want to point out here is how smoothly he cut and changes direction. Smith is very light on his feet, which makes sense given his previous experience as a receiver. And while I have no clue how much actual playing time Brashard will see in the offense early on in his rookie year, I'm excited for his future, and I do think he does get some opportunities out there. They're going to create mismatches, and we are going to see at least a couple fireworks, in my opinion, from Brashard Smith in the pass game. And regarding his future, he's the only back on the roster that's under contract past this year, aside from Carson Steele, of course. Brashard Smith could also be seen out there as the first up with Nico Remigio during kickoff period, which would be another great way to put Smith's sub-4 440 speed to use. Nico, Brashard Smith on kickoff, sign me up. Now, Tyquan Thornton and Noel Williams also got some reps in as well on kickoffs, and honestly, there's going to be a bunch of other guys in the rotation. I just keep my eyes personally on who's the first ones up there, or maybe even the second in the pecking order. Special teams is important after all, and plays a role in some of these depth piece guys being able to even make the roster. And while linebacker Leo Chenal is definitely making the roster, he's a guy who is still playing special teams, and that does not bother him. Whatever he needs to do, he's going to do it. Defense, special teams, whatever he's asked. 2025 is a contract year for Leo, but he said he tries to keep his mind off of that and just focus on growing, getting better, being selfless, and doing what he can for the team. The Super Bowl loss is a huge motivator for him personally, and he's going to use that feeling to help get them to where they want to be this season. Now, another receiver that many have their attention on saw some work with the first team offense as well. A guy who had arguably the standout catch of the day yesterday in Tyquan Thornton. He made another great catch today downfield with Mahomes via a corner route, and you can certainly tell he's out there giving 100%. Many of you agreed with me in yesterday's video as well when I said, please give a guy like this more opportunities over Sky Moore. I feel like we know what Sky Moore can bring to the table, but giving a new guy in the rotation more chances like Tyquan Thornton, that's only a win in my book. Andy Reid told the media today that Thornton is working hard. He made some big catches. He's working on his routes, playing physical, and he likes what he's seen from him so far. He's just got to keep stacking good days. That's kind of what Andy has said about all of these guys. Wait till the pads come on and stack good days. It's a long camp after all. He also did pay a pretty solid compliment to the rookie wideout Jalen Royals. He said that Royals looks very smart because they've loaded him up with plays and he's retained almost all of it, which is a very good sign. He's made some catches as well, but they are still ramping up and the workload from here is only going to increase. I don't know why I said increase like that, but who cares? Regarding the undrafted tight end out of Clemson, Andy gave credit to Brett Veach for bringing Jake Brenningstool into the fold, adding that Veach loved what he saw from Jake. Well, so far, he's doing well out there with the quarterbacks seeming to trust him because they are throwing the ball his way, including this pass from Minshew on an out route to the right side. Another tight end that gets thrown the ball his way more times than not is, of course, tight end one, Travis Kelce. Andy Reid told the media that the guy looks like he's 20 years old out there again, flying around and is in great shape. He was one of the first guys out of all of them to finish that conditioning test to start camp, so that's how you know Travis Kelce took this offseason very seriously. And I know the guy is 35 years old, but he's still a top tight end in the league, and with him taking the offseason as seriously as he has, this is going to be good things for the Chiefs offense. A lighter, quicker, more dangerous Travis Kelce is only going to help open up the offense basically in its entirety. During practice today, Mahomes fired a missile to Kelce's back shoulder in the middle of the field, and he spun around to snag it with ease. The wide receiver one, Rashee Rice, is continuing to stand out at camp as well. He reportedly high-pointed a ball that was over his head and hauled it in with one hand. Mahomes once again quickly went to Rice as a safety valve with the blitz bearing down on him, and he's going to be a top target for Mahomes all camp and basically all season long, at least any game that Rice isn't suspended. Hollywood Brown also made a pretty solid snag in the middle of the field, showcasing that speed, and I'm definitely excited for a healthy Hollywood Brown this season. It is only going to help that offense. Worthy hauled in this slightly underthrown ball from Patrick a bit later, but it didn't matter because he had so much separation on safety Chamari Connor. I'm pretty sure that's a very bad mismatch, a safety on Xavier Worthy. Mahomes is going to throw that to him every time in an actual game, which in theory will be rare to have Worthy one-on-one with the safety. That's probably my biggest concern about the secondary right now, by the way. They seem to be one injury away in the cornerback room from Chamari Connor having to primarily be the guy in the slot once again this season, which was an often targeted weakness in the middle of the field for that defense in 2024. It seems like for now, there's nobody the coaching staff sees as a better option than Connor on the inside, other than, of course, Trent McDuffie, the first-team All-Pro slot corner. The problem is, with Christian Fulton out right now, it also seems like they prefer the idea of McDuffie and Jalen Watson on the outside and Chamari Connor in the slot, rather than trying to move Trent inside and have somebody like maybe Najee Johnson, Josh Williams, or the third-round rookie Noel Williams give it a go on the outside. Now, it's still very early on in camp, so we'll see what happens, but that cornerback room is definitely something to keep tabs on as camp goes on, and it is worth mentioning, those are the only 3 injuries still right now. Everybody else was a full go today, aside from Jawan Taylor, Christian Fulton, and tight end Trey Watson, who are still on the PUP list. Anyway, make sure to let me know your thoughts on the cornerback room. Does that bring you any concerns? And then let me know also your thoughts on Travis Kelce looking 20 years old again out there, as well as Kareem Hunt having a full offseason under his belt. What kind of role do you think he's going to play in the running back room? And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?